Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Teddy, aka Teddy Bear XD, and today we're going to be going over a very interesting team comp for the Rainbow Cup. So my friend Gauwin sent me a message saying he had an idea for an all-water team for the Rainbow Cup. So as you can see, his team on your screen there is on the bottom. He's running Slowking, Azumarill, Kingdra, Mantine, Lantern, and Quagsire. So I asked him if he wanted me to just bring counters for his team, and he said, go ahead and bring your team of 6 and then try to pick counters of your team. So looking at his team, I'm definitely going to bring Meganium here. Meganium's going to counter basically his whole team except for Mantine and possibly Kingdra, just because Grass will do only neutral against Kingdra. Then I'm also going to bring Raichu because, again, counters most of his team except Quagsire, basically. And then looking at the rest of my team, the other 4 don't necessarily counter anything except for Quagsire, so Quagsire will counter both Lantern and Mantine, so I'm going to go ahead and run those 3, and we'll see how it goes. So as you can see, that's my team right there. Now, I'm assuming he's going to think I'm going to lead either Meganium or Raichu, which both are smart leads because they counter most of his team. I'm going to lead Meganium just because it's such a hard counter to all of his team, and even if he brings in Mantine, it's still going to do some work. So go ahead and get right into it. I lead Meganium, and he does lead Mantine. So not a horrible matchup for me, but it is favorable for the Mantine here. So I'm going to switch right as he's throwing the Aerial Ace into Raichu to soak up some of that energy there. And he does switch right away to Quagsire, so I'm just going to spam wild charges here. He does block it, which I'm not sure he should have, but would have done a decent amount of damage. I'm not going to block this, just because I know I can farm a bunch of energy with Meganium here. I go ahead and fire off the Frenzy Plant before he gets to another charge move, and he does let it faint. So now I'm still at 2 shields and he's at 1. I go ahead and throw the Frenzy Plant. This will still do quite a bit of damage. And I switch into Quagsire, again right as he's throwing the Aerial Ace. I decide to block just because I know I can do a lot of damage with the Stone Edge. Keeping Quagsire alive is fine. So I throw the Stone Edge. He doesn't have any shield, so it pretty much kills it right away. And he brings in Lantern, so I'm just going to get to an Earthquake, and it's basically going to one-shot him. And Mantine dies right away. So you can see even with a bad lead, I kind of come out ahead there. That's going to be the issue if you're running an all-water team. Having both Meganium and Raichu is going to be painful. So we're going to run one more match here, I think with the same lineup. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should lead Raichu here. since he did kind of read me the last time with Mantine. The only issue with that being if he leads Quagsire, then I've got to switch right away, which wouldn't be a huge issue. So I do decide to lead Raichu. And he brings in Kingdra, so I think Kingdra would, of all the Pokemon he has, would be a good choice against the 3 Pokemon that I'm bringing, just simply because it does a lot of neutral damage. So I go ahead and fake the Wild Charge here and throw out Thunder Punch, and he does block. So now I'm just going to get to a Wild Charge before I faint. I am going to block this to go for the Wild Charge. Does a ton of damage still. And I feint him barely before I get fainted. Anything that comes in here is going to feint me, so still get an even 1-for-1 shield there, and I feint him and have switched priority. So I go ahead and bring in Meganium here, which is a solid counter to Azumarill. I just need to be cautious of the Ice Beam. So he does block the first Frenzy Plant. And I am going to block the Ice Beam as well. Just because I can get to another Frenzy Plant before he can get to an Ice Beam. And I do over half of HP and it's gone. And Quagsire is going to get one-shot by this Frenzy Plant. So at this point you can see it's very hard to run an all-water team against my team comp. So that was a bit closer with Kingdra, but still wasn't that close. So I kind of suggested that he run Kingdra with Mantine, because you notice he did not run Mantine that last time. Kingdra, Mantine, and then Quagsire, I believe, out of his whole team would be the best, because Mantine can cover the grass, and then Quagsire can cover the electric, and then Kingdra can pretty much cover anything. I mean, it'll take a lot of damage from anything I have, but won't get hard countered by any one thing that I'm gonna run. So that was my suggestion to him. I think we're just gonna test out what happens if I did not bring Raichu at all in the lineup. And you'll see that it's quite a bit closer without Raichu, because he can easily run Mantine and not be worried about getting hard countered by that. So I do decide to go with the Mantine over the Raichu, just to kind of test out what would happen. And so knowing what's on your opponent's team, like for instance, testing out this, if I didn't have an electric type, he is free to run Mantine. So knowing what's on your opponent's team can help you kind of make your team comp better. So I lead Quagsire here. Quagsire does counter Mantine here, but it is fairly close. So I go ahead and fire the Stone Edge right away. Force him to block. He did say he tried to switch earlier, but then it switched him afterwards. So that's kind of unfortunate. So I go for the Earthquake. Ooh, he didn't block it. It's a lot of damage. I'm going to go ahead and block this. I know I can farm up with just a little more to get another charger move ready. So now I have a lot of energy, still have 3 Pokemon, and tied in shields. So I throw the Earthquake here. And I'm going to switch into Meganium right away. Oh, I think I tried to switch. Couldn't quite get it, but we get to another Earthquake, so that's fine. Does about half Azumarill's health. So bring in Meganium. He's throwing an Ice Beam probably. I decide to tank it. Does roughly half. He's gonna switch out into Mantine. That was a good switch. And I'm also gonna switch into Mantine just for the mirror match. He has a little more energy than me, so I wasn't able to piggyback off his Aerial Ace. But I'm gonna try it here. So he goes for an Ice Beam there. Not sure if that's better or not. So you can see I tried hitting that Aerial Ace, but I lagged quite a bit. But that's okay. We get 1 and we get to 2 right away. Nearly faints it. And we faint at the same time. So I know I need to get to a Frenzy Plant here as soon as possible. And we get to it. This should kill. So as you can see, that was quite a bit closer just because I didn't have an electric type. And that made pretty much all the difference. That game really could have gone either way. But well played from him. So he wanted to go back to my original team comp and then try out my suggestion of Kingdra, Mantine, and Quagsire. So we start out with Meganium versus Mantine. Not the greatest matchup for me. So I just try to spam to go for a Frenzy Plant here. And then I try to switch here, but he's got a charge move ready. We're tied on priority right now. So I just keep up charging a little more energy. And lagging a little bit here. So I'm trying to go for the Frenzy Plant. Unfortunately don't get it, and I decide not to block. So I think I would have won that, I think, but in any case, I'm pretty sure he's bringing in Quagsire, so I bring in my own Quagsire just to mirror. We are down on energy a little bit and down to shield. I know he's shield baiting because I hadn't even gotten to my Stone Edge yet. I decide to shield bait as well. And he takes the bait and shields. So this time I'm pretty sure it's an Earthquake. So I go ahead and block. And I'm lagging again. But I'm able to get the Earthquake off. And he does not block it. I think he should have blocked there, personally. But he does get another charge move off. but it's Stone Edge and it doesn't KO me. And I am able to feint him down, so I'm just gonna try to get off a Stone Edge here right away. And I do, and he blocks it. So I'm in an okay position here. Able to farm a little bit off that Mantine right there. I'm throwing Wild Charge at anything that comes out. And he brings out Lantern, interestingly. So he's got Charge Beam, so he's charging quick. So I'm trying to spam to get to a Wild Charge as soon as possible. And I get to it. I think he just had a Hydro Pump up right there. And I'm able to take it out. So that one again could have gone either way. But that was pretty close. Personally, I think he should have gone Kingdra instead, but that was very close. So I think we're going to run that back again. Not sure if he switches his team comp here or not. But he's going Tentacruel, interestingly. This wasn't on his list, but he let me know before we started. So I switch into Quagsire. And he brings out Mantine, which I don't know. I think he probably should have stayed in. Because Mantine does not do that well against Quagsire. No need to block here, it won't do that much. Get another Stone Edge off. And he double shields his Mantine. So I know all I have to do is shield this next attack. And my Stone Edge will one-shot him. So I go ahead and shield. Farm up a little bit more energy and throw Stone Edge. Well, I guess it won't one-shot him. So I decide not to shield here and just bring in Raichu to finish him off. Then he switches to Quagsire and I immediately switch into Meganium just to one-shot him with Frenzy Plant. So he brings in Mantine, gets a charge move off. I do block. It's possible I shouldn't have blocked that and just let it faint. He does get a charge move off here. And it's Sludge Wave and it one-shots me. But I'm going to go ahead and get to a Wild Charge here. And take him out. So, Tentacruel's a pretty good one as well, just because it can hit grass types with the poison moves. I think it has Poison Jab, as well as that Sludge Wave you saw, so Sludge Wave will pretty much one-shot a plain grass type like Meganium. It will do a lot of damage against a grass and poison type like Venusaur, but will not one-shot it just because it's only neutral to poison grass. But it is a solid water type pick. So we're gonna go ahead and get into, I believe this is the last match of the video. So this one ends up being pretty close. So I lead Raichu, and he leads Kingdra. So I think this match is pretty close. He's going to do a ton of damage with those Dragon Breaths to me. I'm going to go ahead and get to a Wild Charge. I was thinking he wouldn't block this because I shield baited last time, but he does block, which is good for him. I'm going to try to get to another Wild Charge. Not quite. I got greedy. I should have just gone for a Thunder Punch, I think, but I have burned a shield of his already, so I go ahead and bring in Meganium here. I'm going to block this. Outrage would do so much damage, so I'm not going to risk just getting a one shot. He does go ahead and switch, and I switch into Quagsire here for the good matchup. Just going to go ahead and get to Stone Edges. There's no need to shield here. Ice Beam does do a pretty good amount of damage though. I do force his second shield here. And I go ahead and get to another Stone Edge before he... I'm not sure if he's going for Ice Beam or Aerial Ace here. I probably shouldn't have shielded here, because I think he's going to beat me to another Aerial Ace, which he does. Yeah, that was a mistake. Because I've got Raichu. No, I don't. It vanished already. But I had Meganium in the back ready with the Frenzy Plant. I could have saved a shield and been pretty safe. He does have 2 left. So I go ahead and fire off a Frenzy Plant right away. And it does take out the Kingdra. The last Pokemon he's got is Tentacruel. So I know I have to get to an Earthquake here. I won't kill it. And I barely get to an Earthquake. Actually 1 HP. And it one-shots it. Oh man. He was probably really close to a charge move. But that match was very close. That team comp he ran was pretty good. So the all-water team comp is quite interesting. You really need to be aware of what your opponent has and know what to run. So that last team comp he ran was one of the better ones that he could have run. But again, if your opponent doesn't have an electric type on your team, you're going to want to run that main team. So if you play it correctly, really you can run all water if you wanted. Personally, I would not recommend it, but it is very interesting, and you kind of showcase that it's possible to do with the right moves and with the right team comp. So thanks for watching the video. If you found it interesting or entertaining, go ahead and drop me a like and let me know what you think of that team comp and what you would bring against that team. And thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys later.